Why do bad people succeed? Why do those who lie, manipulate, and hurt others often seem to rise faster than those who are honest, kind, and hardworking? You've seen it. The corrupt businessman getting richer, the dishonest politician rising, the influencer selling misinformations. Meanwhile, the honest, hard-working person keeps hitting walls. You look around and wonder if there is truly a moral order. If there is God, then how can this be? Before we go deeper, if you're someone who seeks wisdom that goes beyond surface-level motivation, hit the like button. And if you are new here, subscribe to the channel, because here we question deeply and we learn from timeless wisdom like the Bhagavad Gita to understand the world as it really is. Let's begin. Everywhere you look, the pattern repeats. The greedy get richer. The arrogant are rewarded. The corrupt survive every scandal. They cheat the system, twist morality, and still walk away smiling. And the honest ones, the people who try to do the right thing, end up disillusioned. It feels unfair. It shakes our faith not just in people, but in the very idea of justice itself. We grow up believing that good always triumphs, that truth will prevail. But reality often feels like the opposite. You might ask, if God exists, why does He let this happen? The Bhagavad Gita faces this question head-on, and what it says might surprise you. To understand why evil people succeed, we first have to understand what the Gita means by success and evil. The Gita doesn't define evil as some devilish figure ruling from below. Evil, in its essence, is ignorance, a deep disconnection from truth. It's when a person forgets their divine nature and becomes a slave to greed, ego, and fear. And success, real success, is not measured by money, power, or status. It's measured by peace of mind, by integrity, by alignment with one's dharma, one's righteous duty. The problem is, most of us confuse temporary advantage with true success. We see someone accumulate wealth and think they've won. But the Gita says something different. It says when you act without dharma, without truth, you may gain the world, but you will lose yourself. You might climb the ladder, but the ladder itself is leaning against the wrong wall. So, when we see unethical people rise, the Gita invites us to look deeper. Their rise is not a victory of evil. It's often the beginning of their eventual downfall. It might not happen today or tomorrow. It might not even happen visibly. But deep down, their peace is gone. They're chained by the very things they chase. When a person's entire life is built on greed or deception, they may win for a while, but that victory has an expiry date. Their mind becomes restless. Their peace evaporates. They need constant validation, constant stimulation, because deep inside, they know their empire is built on sand. It's like drinking salt water to quench thirst. The more they drink, the thirstier they get. Now comes the real question. Why does God allow this? If God is all-knowing and all-powerful, why not stop evil people from succeeding? The Gita gives us several layers of understanding. First, it reminds us that this world is a training ground for the soul. Every soul has free will, the freedom to act according to its nature. God doesn't interfere in that freedom, because growth comes through choice, not control. When someone chooses selfishness, they also choose the eventual consequences of that path. They might appear to succeed temporarily, but the law of karma operates silently, inevitably. Think of it like a movie. The villain might dominate half the story, but the movie isn't over yet. The Gita tells us to trust the longer arc of truth. What we see is only a fragment of a much larger picture, one that extends beyond a single lifetime. Sometimes, the divine allows evil to rise, not because evil deserves it, but because the world needs to learn something through contrast. If we never saw darkness, we'd never recognize the value of light. If everyone were kind, integrity would have no meaning. The rise of evil forces us to reflect, to choose consciously what we want to stand for. Krishna says in the Gita that he allows people to act according to their desires, even if those desires lead them astray. But every action, every choice, carries its reaction. So, when an evil person climbs high, the fall will eventually match the height. The law is silent, but precise. This world, the Gita says, is a battlefield, not just like Kurukshetra, but an inner battlefield, where each of us struggles between light and shadow. Seeing the wicked succeed is one of life's most powerful tests. It tests your patience, your faith, your integrity. When you see someone winning through deceit, you're tempted to think, maybe I should bend the rules too. But that's where the Gita draws a hard line. It says, your job is to act righteously, to perform your duty, not to manipulate the outcome. This one line is the foundation of the Gita's philosophy. It means focus on what you can control, your actions, your intent, your integrity. The results are not yours to command. They belong to the cosmic order. And this is hard, because we live in a world obsessed with results. Everyone wants the trophy, not the truth. But the Gita teaches us that attachment to results is what enslaves us. The more you chase validation, the more you lose yourself. Let's imagine the so-called successful evil person. They're rich, powerful, famous, but they're also anxious, suspicious, restless. They trust no one because they know how they got to the top. They can't stop hustling because their identity depends on staying ahead. That's not success, that's slavery. On the other hand, someone who lives in truth might have less in material terms, but they sleep peacefully. They know they didn't betray their conscience. Their happiness isn't rented from others' opinions, it's rooted in something real. So when you see someone bad succeeding, remember this. What you are seeing is not the full story. You're seeing the edited version, not the raw footage. You're seeing outer glitter, not inner collapse. The Gita says that the rewards of unrighteousness are like poison wrapped in honey, sweet at first, but bitter in the end. Still, there's another dimension to this. The success of evil sometimes plays a role in the evolution of good. When corruption grows, it reaches a point where society, or even an individual soul, awakens and says, enough. That awakening is spiritual fire. Without the presence of wrong, the yearning for right wouldn't ignite as strongly. In that sense, even evil serves the divine purpose, not as something to celebrate, but as something that catalyzes transformation. Darkness can never destroy light. It can only make light more necessary. Knowing all this, what should we, as ordinary people, actually do when we see evil thriving around us? The Gita's answer is simple but profound. Do your duty. Stay centered. Act without hatred, without envy, without despair. When others lie, you stay truthful. When others exploit, you stay just. When others burn with greed, you practice contentment. You don't do it because you expect a medal for it. You do it because that's who you choose to be. Krishna never tells Arjuna to abandon the battlefield. He tells him to fight, but with the right consciousness, without arrogance, without hatred. The way to respond to evil's temporary success isn't to imitate it. It's to outlast it. Here's a hard truth. Being good doesn't guarantee an easy life. The Gita never promises that. It doesn't say the righteous will always be rich or protected. What it says is that the righteous are free. Their joy doesn't depend on outcome. Their peace doesn't depend on the world being fair. So, live your dharma with quiet strength. Let evil exhaust itself. The victories of the wicked are like sparks in the wind, brief, bright, and gone. The victories of the righteous are like roots, invisible at first, then unstoppable. Every soul meets consequences eventually. No one escapes their own reflection forever. Victory isn't always applause. Sometimes it is simply not becoming what tried to destroy you. Thank you for watching till the end.